Welcome back to the show. Michael K. This sounds so weird. With my special guest, Don Marco LaGreca. Miss this man like so fiercely. It's unbelievable.
There was I kind of thought about that because this is the way things are right now. Is that when I interned at K-Rock way back in 1990, I'd take the bus into the city and I'd listen to Stern. And I'd get really excited about who his guests were because then I'd be able to meet them.
Right.
And I was thrilled. I was on the bus listening, and Dana Plato was in studio. And I had a mad crush on Dana Plato from back in the day, Different Strokes.
Yeah, I know the title.
Yeah. And she's no longer with us.
Yeah, I know.
And then I found out that it was a best of, and I was just crestfallen that she wasn't there. So I had the same kind. When I heard that you were hugged Carlin, I'm like, Michael's in.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get a chance to see him. Now, it wasn't at the Dana Plato level, but it was still fun to know that
by the way,
here.
I'd like to correct one thing you said. He hugged me. I did not reciprocate.
So he just
I came in, they had about 10 minutes left in the show. They were in a commercial, and he said, how about a hug, big flannel, because I'm wearing a flannel shirt. I said, no, I'm going to pass. And then after that, at the end of the show, I'm sitting here. He's putting his stuff together, and before he leaves, he just gives me a bear hug. I did not reciprocate.
That's being unaware.
Yeah, I'm not a toucher. You know that.
Well, I'm way closer to you than he is.
Right. You've never hugged me.
And it would never even occur to me to ask because I know you. That's just not knowing.
No,
that's just not.
Well,
knowing.
You know what? He'll get to know more. But I know that you have some strong opinions about the attendance stuff, which I started because of what Steve Cohen said.
I understand, and Steve's. God loves Steve and his money, but he's not. He's a little lost.
Why is he lost?
I don't know. He's just unaware. Like you just said, why would he even comment about Flag Road? Are you just stupid? He's going to get fined. As soon as I heard that, even before you mentioned it, when I heard it today, I'm like, he's going to get fined. You can't answer that question.
Right.
Can't talk about how great a player he is and don't want to get into long-term contracts. Never mind the Blue Jays. I think Major League Baseball may fine him.
They might.
Now, he may not care because he makes so much money, but was it that he didn't care or is he unaware? I think he's kind of unaware.
I think he was unaware. I don't think he thought he crossed the line, but he probably did.
Listen, I'm no expert on this, and listen, don't get mad at me, but the reason I wanted to come on is I do think this is a topic for you. Mm-hmm. And a lot of Yankee fans as kind of a flex. Let's be honest.
No, but
we
I'm
don't
bringing
have
up the
that
Knicks and the
problem
Rangers
in the Bronx.
too. But I'm bringing up the Knicks and the Rangers.
But
the only way
they're apples and oranges, right?
Because the only way you get away, Don, from spending people's money, because it's extremely expensive to take a family anywhere.
Of course.
So, but the Yankees are more expensive than Citi Field, and they get $40,000 a game. But that's the only reason I bring it up.
No, but I do think it's a bit of a flex, because a caller mentioned about somebody from the company about how the Mets got off to the slow start and it was rock bottom, and you said, well, the Yankees had a 30, 40 game span where they were terrible, but they were still in it. They were still in a race. My logic is that it's not like back when we were kids. You're sitting at the kitchen table, it's 5 o'clock, and Dad goes, hey, let's go to a ball game, and everybody gathers their stuff and goes to the game. That doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
I would say the majority of tickets are purchased now. It's February, March. Let's buy tickets. Let's take a look at the schedule. Let's go to the Cardinal game. Let's go to the Yankee-Met game. Let's buy tickets now. Well, last year, Michael, not only were they coming off a disappointing season in 23,
they got off to a terrible
start. They were taking a knee in 24. We talked about it on the K Show all the time about the Mets weren't going to try. They got out of the contracts with Scherzer and Verlander. They were going to wait until the big free agency with Soto.
Yep.
It looked like Alonso wasn't going to re-sign, so it looked like 24 was going to be a waste of time. So why am I going to invest money to buy tickets for a team that wasn't going to try?
Okay.
All right, and then they get off to the slow start. So I think that's why there's 18,000 people late in the season against the Nationals when the next series is Philly, and the fans are going to go, well, if I'm going to go to a series, I'm going to go to the Philly series. The Yankees are good every single year. Even their awful year of 82-80 was still above 500, and they go into every year with the prospects of winning a championship. And even last year, coming off the 82-80 season, you've got Judge and Soto. I'm sorry, I love Pete Alonso, but he's not exactly a massive draw like Soto and Judge. So even if they're struggling, it's two of the best players in baseball. And the Yankees have established themselves. Do you not remember all those Don Mattingly home runs into an empty upper deck?
Absolutely.
While the Mets were drawing 3 million fans because the Mets had Carter and Strawberry and Hernandez.
Well, that's why a young lady called in and said, the Yankees are a bit, but in the 80s, it was a Met town. It was totally a Met town.
Which just tells you now it's been a Yankee town for a long time because they've been above 500 since the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole generation of fans that know their team is going to be good. They know they're going to have stars. The Met fan, even after the 101-win season, it ended disappointingly, and then they take a knee. Then they have a disappointing year in 23, and then they take a knee on 24, and they don't have a history of winning, haven't won a World Series since '86. How do you think fans are going to get excited to go and buy tickets? You can't compare Yankees and Mets, but you could back 30 years ago when Steinbrenner's threatened them to move them to New Jersey, and the Mets are drawing over 3 million fans.
But the one thing that Cohen brought up, I think, and you just sloughed it up and said, "Well, I'm going to spend the money on the Phillies and not the Nationals." But that was a big series. The Mets had to win every single game to get in the postseason. And you're going to pick and choose when to go. When you have a team, you should be opponent-proof. You just want to go to see your team.
I know, but again, last year was an exciting time towards the end of the season. But I do think a lot of tickets are bought earlier. And, yeah, it's disappointing to see 18,000 fans. But, don't call out the fans. You even said it, that they have a fan base. This is not a question of do the Mets have fans. Mm-hmm. The question is why are they not going? Because it's really expensive to go, and they're not guaranteed to see a great product. Lindor was somebody that was kind of on the outs with the fans. He wasn't coming through, wasn't that far removed from the thumbs down era. So there was just a lot not to love about the team.
They've got to draw a lot this year.
I would almost guarantee you, lock top 10, if not higher. You've got Juan Soto. The fans are happy that Alonso's back in the fold. The team is expected to do a lot of great things. So I do think there's going to be a lot of excitement around it. But the reason I think Cohen's kind of lost is he even answered his own question. It does lag. The attendance lags.
But 2 years ago, they won 101 games.
Right, but it ended disappointingly, and then it went right into the tank. You got to realize Met fans want to be proven that they're moving in the right direction. Even with Cohen's money, they want to say, all right, show me. There's still a lot of fans out there like, let's see if this is actually going to work out. Right? You're always waiting for the other shoe to drop if you're a Met fan. As a Yankee fan, even though they bash the team on a constant basis, there's always reason for optimism. And plus, you're going to see Judge, who's a singular talent. When Cole pitches, that's going to be an electric night. Every night he's going to pitch for the Yankees. And then last year you had Soto. So even after coming off a disappointing season, there's a reason to go out there. They've established themselves as the place to be. The Mets has been just so fluid for so long. But if you're admitting that they have fans, then I'm not sure what the issue is. I can understand it looks like they're not a very popular team.
But the issue is that the owner's losing money funding this team, and if they don't start turning out, he might have an epiphany.
I just hate to put fans in that situation. Well, if you want the team to spend money, then you got to go. Listen, you know how big a Met fan I am. I didn't go to one game last year.
But you live a long way away from Citi Field, so you have a real excuse.
I know, but there's a lot of people that live close. But it's not exactly the most affluent of areas, in Flushing.
But it's not dangerous.
No, I'm not saying it's dangerous. I don't think the Bronx is dangerous the way George made it out to be when he was threatening to move into New Jersey.
In those years it was.
But it was funny, though, that all of a sudden nobody wants to come to the Bronx. It's dangerous. It's the Bronx Zoo. We got to move. And then all of a sudden they start getting Derek Jeter. They start winning games. And it wasn't an issue anymore. They they build a new stadium in the same place.
Right. They wanted to build it in Manhattan, but that was
right. But
they couldn't do it.
The fact is they've won on a consistent basis. You know this fan base as well as everybody. It's very fluid with this relationship.
But you see the Rangers had a couple. I mean, when they sent the letter out, they still sold out all the time.
Right, but you're talking about 18,006 as opposed to what is the Mets 38, 40,000 people. Okay,
yeah.
And Madison Square Garden, even when the Yankees and even when the Rangers and the Knicks aren't great. You could sell Madison Square Garden. There's a lot of tourists that'll go to games. But there were times when the Rangers weren't very good. It was more like 17,500.
Right.
Same thing with the Knicks. But baseball, you're trying to fill a stadium. You're going up against the weather, which sometimes isn't great. And I understand the Yankees consistently get 40,000. It's a different product, isn't it?
What do you mean?
It's just what you're getting. You know that team is going to be good every year.
You're saying that most attendance is sold before the season.
That's what I believe.
I think. I mean, but with StubHub and things like that, you could buy spur of the moment tickets. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, but I just think that when you're really going to get the bulk of people that are going to purchase ahead of time, that's why I think that when the team, that's why it lags. Why else would it lag? I mean, you would think that everybody would go and just go to the stadium in September when the team is red hot.
Well, once they signed Soto, they should have been calling for tickets.
But you even said when Jeter left, and it was just Robinson Cano, who was a star, but he wasn't Derek Jeter.
Right.
You did see attendance and ratings on Yes suffer because they didn't have a real big-time star.
Mm-hmm.
The Mets didn't really have a big-time star. Again, God love Pete Alonso, but Pete Alonso. That's why nobody really wanted him. He's not a draw for a lot of people, but Juan Soto, and now the way Lindor played last year, where he's now become like a legitimate star and a leader, then I think it becomes attractive. I would be shocked. I think this is more of a conversation this time next year if we're talking about why isn't that place filled, considering the optimism and Juan Soto being in the building. I would be shocked if they're not at least in the top 10 this year.
Now, I know that you are not of like-minded to me, and this always bothers you when I ask you, but I would think that if there's ever been a sporting event that would demand that you take your clothes off, it's Four Nations. Am I right?
I don't take my clothes off for sporting events, but I am very excited about this.
So
very,
if you were of that mindset,
if I was of that mindset, I would be completely naked. I might shave.
Wait, your beard?
No, everything.
Everything?
Because like a swimmer, I'd want to be able to feel all the contours completely exposed for something like this.
It's exciting.
I know you're not a hockey guy.
Well,
but
I mean, the 3 fights in 9 seconds is pretty amazing.
But in just the way the game was played, and listen, this was a moment for me as a hockey fan, where Saturday, we had only 4.4 million people for what's supposed to be an exhibition,
right,
on a Saturday night on ABC, and the NBA embarrassed itself. So that was kind of a cool moment for me, where the NBA's running through obstacle courses and everybody's bashing them and everybody's like in love, even like non-hockey fans in love with what that was, and I would think it'd be even better.
But this is
on Thursday,
because you've been around hockey players a long time in your career.
Yeah.
What is it about hockey players that this means something to them, and the NBA players couldn't care less about their All-Star team? They couldn't care less. Well, what's the difference? Is it something in their DNA?
Well, I don't
the
think,
way they're wired?
I don't think NHL players care about All-Star games, but they care about representing their country.
Yeah.
Because part of being a hockey fan and part of being a hockey player is international play is important, because you play in World Juniors, so you're playing internationally. So where you're from, you walk in a room, and just like unlike any other sport, where you're dressing next to a Swede and a Finn and a Russian, and so you take a lot of pride in representing your country. And let's face it, Saturday, Montreal, the anthem's getting booed. There's a lot of things going on politically, and a lot of athletes are conservative, so they probably feel a little about like what's happening with the tariffs and everything. And they feel defensive about their country being booed, and that's part of it, and just representing your country. And there are players, not U.S. players, but there's Swedes and Finns and Russians who winning a gold medal might be more important than winning a Stanley Cup. So you throw that into the mix. And also, other than soccer, name me a sport in which the United States is an underdog. This is not our sport.
Right.
We're not the favorites when we play hockey. But a basketball tournament, wouldn't the American players be so far better? We talked about it yesterday on the show. I guess
I don't
Serbia.
know. I mean, if it was United States against Europe, it'd be a good matchup.
Well, if it was all of Europe,
of Europe.
like what would it be, Serbia? Would that be the country that would best be able to field a team?
France, Spain. I mean,
but it would. What would the spread be if you're playing the U.S.? It would be the U.S. It would be the U.S. versus the field kind of deal, and that takes a lot of the fun out of it. But the United States wasn't the favorite here. But boy, there's a lot of excitement around it. So I think that's why, from an international perspective, and you're starting to see it with the WBC. There was no interest in the WBC because it was our sport. America's never going to be challenged. But guess what? All of a sudden, we're starting to see Japan's flexing its muscles. You're seeing
and they were selling out Miami,
and now it's becoming kind of a thing to where maybe, I don't know if Aaron Judge will play, but if you're starting to get the best playing, because now you're getting a little defensive. But baseball's not about international play. Basketball's not about international play. Hockey is. So I think that's the difference.
It's so funny you brought up the anthem, because I was going to bring it up yesterday, and there were so many things going on. I mean, people are befuddled why the Canadians are booing our national anthem. our president is saying he's derisively that they're the 51st state and calling their prime minister a governor. Of course they're going to boo. They're insulted. Of course that's why they're booing.
And plus, that always would happen when American and Canadian teams would play in the playoffs. The reason it would hit differently is because you'd have Americans booing the Canadian anthem,
right? And
meanwhile, half the team players on their team are Canadian.
Right.
So, but I don't want to get overly political. I'm not saying that the players that fought, the Kachuk brothers, are Trumpers,
right?
But no matter how they feel about that, aren't you going to get defensive that your country's being booed and disrespected?
I guess they don't sit. I guess they don't sit there and say, "Well, the reason they're booing is that, like, our president is saying he wants to take them over and be the fifth."
Right, it's calling Trudeau the governor of Canada. I mean, it's no matter how you fall on it, and it's way over my head, and we don't want to get overly political, but you can understand the Canadians being
absolutely.
But also, let's be this. I didn't hear anybody else bring this up. I do find it rich that Quebec is booing, considering all the years they spent trying to secede from Canada.
Right.
Like all of a sudden now they're pro-Canadian when wasn't that long ago they wanted to become their own country. And there's a huge rivalry between French-speaking and English-speaking, but listen, they're still part of Canada. They're affected by the tariffs, and that's probably why they decided to boo.
You want to take a couple of phone calls? Because some people want to talk to the two of us.
I don't want to fat hand you.
No, I love it. I love it.
Okay,
sometimes it's lonely.
Because
as I said, the listeners are the co-hosts now.
Unlike some, I come to work early.
Really? Some don't? I was here at about 11.
No,
11:50. Really? Yeah.
Is everything all right at home? 11:50.
Yeah, everything's great.
That's early.
I know. I care about this job. Prepare.
No, I listen. I've never questioned you caring ever.
Let's go to Mike in a town I can't pronounce.
Hawthorne.
Yeah. Hey, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
What's up?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Hey, listen. I can get in on everything you guys were talking about, from the tariff with Trump to the hockey to how expensive it is to go to a game. I mean, I'm a Jets season ticket holder for a long story of who I am. It's hard to get to a game, but listening to you two guys, I have no idea how this crew does not have their own show. I was mad 8 years ago when you brought in a third party. You guys are, without a doubt, the best tandem on the radio for the last 20 plus years.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that for, to blow smoke up both of your proverbial what.
I love smoke up there.
Guys, well, they're good for you. I'm happy. The back and forth and the way you guys get at it and the way you talk about it, and you have respect. And there's a reason why the Michael K was on the marquee all those years. And it's great. I literally ran out of my office, got into my truck, and called you guys just to let you know I'm going to sit in the car for the next hour, listen to, or however long Don's on. And I just want to let you guys know how much I personally, Mike from Hawthorne, you have fun with our name and all that kind of stuff, appreciate the two of you guys and how professional you are on the radio. And I don't know who's running that station, but to let you two guys not be together is an absolute mistake.
No, Mike. Here's where you're wrong. The afternoon drive is the most valuable real estate in radio. So I needed a change in my lifestyle, and Don's an afternoon drive talent. That's why he's on afternoon drive.
As much as I love Michael, and I think Michael would understand if they said, Don, we're going to move you to 1 to 3.
I don't think he'd be thrilled.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Now, if they kept the money the same, maybe I'd have to think about it, but that's not how it works in this business. Less work for more money is what we all try to do.
That's what we all strive to do. Let's go to Michael again in
Hawthorne.
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah,
sure.
What's up, man?
You can imagine how, when the last caller went on, you said Mike and Hawthorne, I started talking. Nobody was there.
So we had 2 in a row. What's up, Mike?
What are the odds of that? So, hey, guys, Michael, I love the new time slot. You guys are all great.
Thank you.
I have a comment about the Mets attendance. I'm a big Mets fan, born in 96. So I think it's partially what Don said about how, between 08 and 22, you never knew what kind of product was going to be on the field. So it's like taking a chance going out there to Queens. But the second part of it is, North Jersey, where I'm from, a lot of Mets fans. Long Island, a lot of Mets fans. It's tough to get to Citi Field from both of those spots, whereas Yankee fans are from the Bronx and Madison Square Garden is on top of a train station. So, it's really easy to get to those places.
It's not that easy to get. I mean, there are a lot of Yankee fans from Jersey. A lot.
But it's real easy to get to the Bronx from Jersey. My
dealing
dad,
with the bridge, though.
No, but I understand. But it's right there over the bridge. My dad was a Met fan. We were from Hawthorne, New Jersey. My dad, he hated going to New York, but he would bear it to go to the Yankee game. I went to more Yankee games as a kid than Met games because the Mets it was too far. Now you're crossing 2 bridges, and now it's taking even longer to go. We're just easy. Go over the bridge, park, and go. So I think there's something to that.
Let's go to Hector in Bayonne. Hector.
Hey, Michael. What's up, man? How are you?
Good. How you doing?
How you doing?
What's up, baby?
I'm all right. Hey, Michael, I feel like it's not what you say, it's the way you say it, the tone. Always anti-Met. I'm a big fan of yours, but it's just always, I don't want to use the word, but Yankee boy. I don't know why you can't embrace the fact that you are a Yankee boy. You grew up in the Bronx. You are a Yankee fan. You are the Yankees announcer. Don's a Met boy. What's the big deal? The fact is you are a Yankee boy, and you only talk good about the Yankees, always trashing the Mets. Any opportunity
but
you
see,
get.
Hector, that in itself. Listen, you could have your opinion. That's wrong. To say I always talk good about the Yankees and bad about the Mets, that's just wrong. Did you hear the interview that I had with Carlos Mendoza on Friday? Did you hear that? Was I negative?
I did. No, you're not going to be negative to his face.
But I'm not negative. Listen,
No.
I'm a Yankee announcer, okay? I was a Yankee fan when I was a child. Do I want the Yankees to do well for the Yes Network? Of course I do. But, I mean, you have a filter in your ear. You're going to hear what you want to hear. I do not talk bad about the Mets all the time. I don't. And I don't talk great about the Yankees all the time. I take each subject individually and opine on it the way I feel at that point. That's why I said earlier in the show, Don was probably in the car then, when, you're Yankee fans, because I criticized the Yankees yesterday. If you're going to be $3 million over the tax, Don, and you need a third baseman, then go $30 million over the tax. If you're going to be under it, that's a different story. And he's going to get his marching orders later this week. He'll change his opinion.
You've never been able to win that game.
Choke on your vomit if that's what you think. Really, go choke on your vomit if that's what you think.
People have done that. That's
you know what? But
these
are the people that should actually do it. Because if you really believe that I get marching orders, choke on your own vomit.
No, you don't get marching orders, and we never got them at Yes. They never told us what to do when we were on Yes.
And we're not on Yes anymore.
Where I will say, like I said, it was kind of a Yankee flex, is that you come from a Yankee background. Like, hey, look at us. We don't have an attendance problem. But I
they
think
used to.
But a long time ago.
Mattingly
But you
hit
win
6 grand
consistently
slams
for
into empty seats.
Right. But that's why I'm saying that don't be surprised, because what the Mets are going through now is what the Yankees went through in the 80s. During that time, Michael, the Yankees were not that bad.
No, they were great in the 80s.
They won more games than any team in the 80s,
if
right?
If there was a wild card, they'd have done well.
But they weren't the Mets, who were in contention every single year, and they were loaded with stars, and there were stories and soap operas, and they were punching each other during spring training. They were a thing. The Yankees weren't a thing. God loved Don Mattingly. He was a superstar, right? But he was milquetoast compared to like what was happening in Queens. There was a lot of interesting things happening in Queens that had people interested in the Mets, and they were not interested in a pretty good Yankee team that didn't embarrass themselves. We're talking about a Met team that has embarrassed themselves quite a bit over the last 30 years.
The Yankees had great talent. They had Ricky, they had Dave Winfield, they had Don. They just didn't have pitching. But the Mets it was a Met town then, because the Mets were very compelling view.
Now, I do think those days are over because the Yankees have been so good and there's a generation so in love. But I don't want to call out Yankee fans. But, when you talk about being a diehard Yankee fan and you go to a ton of games, do you know how easy it is to be a Yankee fan knowing that you're never going to be embarrassed? You're never going to lose 100 games. You're never going to be out of it in July. There's something to that. Would you at least admit to me that being a Yankee fan is cream cheese compared to being a fan of a lot of other teams in this market?
It's a wonderful, refreshing new thing to be a Yankee fan. I
you talk about the passion of it. You know
it.
how hard it is to be a Ranger fan? They've won once in like 85 years.
Well, but
and yet
Yankee
they're still
fans are upset they've only
it.
won once since 2009.
And think of how that sounds when it comes out of your mouth.
Now, Ted in Bergen wants to talk specifically to you.
Okay.
Now, you can wait till 3 if you want when he's got 4 hours.
But why do that?
But why do it when you got him right here? Ted in Bergen. What's up, Ted?
Yeah, hi, guys. I've been listening to both of you for years.
Thanks.
And,
Thanks, Ted.
I'm 80 years old, and I'm really excited about all this interest in hockey lately. And I got to thinking about something I just wanted to talk to Don about. Back in the 50s, when I first started paying attention to hockey, it was during the original 6 time. And there were only 6 teams, obviously. And the other day I was listening to your show, and Don was going through the hockey scores from the night before. And there were about 14 or 15 games that Don went through all the scores for. Now, back in the 60s, with only 6 teams, that means there were only 3 games
Right, exactly.
every night. So I don't know if Don, were you? I think I'm older than you. I know I'm older than you.
I'm 57, so I was born when the first expansion happened, and my youth was with 21 teams. But yeah, it is kind of crazy, Michael, on a Saturday where there's like 15 games going on, and Ted grew up at a time where they'd go to the out of town scoreboard and there'd be 2 other games going on.
Listen, I can't leave this unsaid. He said he's 80, and then he said, "I think I'm older than you."
Yeah, that hurt.
And then the comedian that
really
was
stung.
on guessed your age wrong.
At 63.
I think it's the gray hair.
It is definitely the gray hair, but I don't want to shave the beard. I like my look.
Okay, but
Plus,
obviously it's making it look older.
I was
think.
business casual that day because I had a Ranger pregame, and so I was kind of dressed up.
Right.
Do you think? Well, it's tough. You've known me forever, but do I look 63? I don't think you look 60.
No, I look 64 now. No, I look awful. I look in the mirror and I say, "Well, it's going to happen soon. I'm going to be underground.
happen?
I'm going to be underground soon."
Yeah, but if you died tomorrow, God forbid,
Yeah.
they would say, "Boy, 64, that's young."
I know.
So-
But I feel really old, and I look terrible.
Well, no offense to the caller, when you die at 80, you don't go, "Wow, 80."
Well, I would.
Well, yeah, because you wouldn't even sign up for 99.
Right.
How about Garrett Morris, 88? You wouldn't sign up for that, though.
No. I think Anthony texted me when Virginia McCaskey died at 102. He said, "You take that, right?" I said, "I'm not sure.
Really?
I want more."
Well, everybody wants more, but you'd have to sign for that.
No, because if you sign for that, that means that you want to.
Yeah, but also then you'll know you'll make it to 102. You don't know right now.
I like to roll the dice. You know me.
I mean, the guy was talking about 3 o'clock. We could be a burning cinder by 3. We don't know.
Really?
Yeah, it's all very fluid.
It is very.
So if you
fluid.
could sign for 102, that means you're getting to 102.
Yeah, I just want more. I need more.
But you might get, and you most likely get less. So wouldn't you want to guarantee yourself 102?
You know what? It's a compelling argument you're making.
I think it's the drop the mic part of it.
It really might be. Now I know they're probably clamoring for you for the pre-show meeting.
Yeah, I'm
right?
sorry. I messed up the clock for you and everything. I wanted to get that in, and I was willing to wait till the end of the show for like a tease.
No,
but
you're a 2 o'clock guest. Come on.
I had my leftover hibachi, and I'm all good now.
You already ate?
Yes,
What'd you eat?
leftover hibachi.
What?
Oh, chicken and steak and rice.
Who made it?
The hibachi place. Do you know what hibachi is?
Yeah, I didn't know is there a place called Hibachi?
No, it's Como 27 or Kumo 27, where I went on Saturday for a belated birthday because Thursday there was too much going on.
Did everybody wish you a happy birthday? Because I know I did. Everybody that's important to you, did they check in?
Not everybody,
but I was there.
But you're right there.
Also, what a complete fail by Kenny Albert.
Well, he's been working quite a bit, but he fell asleep.
He works all the time, but I texted him at 12 o'clock. I sat there with my finger on the button. So when the phone went to 12, I hit send. Happy birthday, Kenny. And he ended up wishing me a happy birthday at 2 in the afternoon.
Oh, wow.
He's given up.
I guess it's not a thing anymore. Now it's
it was a thing last year because last year at 12 o'clock he hit it.
I mean, he was just as busy last year.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. Very. I know you have a meeting
I'm sorry
to go
to hear
to.
that, yes.
Thank you so much for coming in. Really. I miss you so much.
I miss you more.
I miss you even more.